Hello friends, we are today studying about postmortem changes part 2. In last class we had discussed about changes in eyes and skin, and apart from that we had reviewed about the definition and types. I'm Dr. Seema Sute, Professor and HOD Forensic Medicine and Toxicology at GMC Khandwa. We will be studying today about postmortem staining, that is also called as postmortem hypostasis, and also the synonym is postmortem lividity. It is the reddish purple or bluish discoloration of the skin and organs due to accumulation of blood in toneless capillaries and small veins in dependent parts due to gravity. So whenever the body is lying or sitting or hanged anywhere, the portion of the body which is dependent in the sense like there is no support beside or below the body. So in that case, in the direction of gravity, the capillaries will start trickling, and because of that there is stagnation of blood on the dependent part, and that will cause discoloration, and that will be in the reddish purple color. So this is what is postmortem lividity. How does it appear? The chronology, if you understand, initially within half to 1 hour there are mottled patches, and afterwards these patches start gradually increase in size and fuse in about 3 hours. It becomes fully developed within 6 to 12 hours and relatively fixed in 6 to 8 hours. It is absent in the contact flattening. To understand what is contact flattening, the body surface area which is in contact with any surface, where the body is not dependent and there is no gravitational force, and here you will not see the staining, which is because of the accumulation. The part which is apart from contact area will have that stained area. As you can see in the picture, the person is pressing with his thumb on the area of redness, and afterwards, after say 30 seconds or 1 minute, it removes and you will see the pale area circular which is there because of the pressure applied, that is called as blanching, and this effect is seen if the postmortem lividity is not fixed. That means the postmortem lividity as not fixed, the time must have been less than 8 hours. So it gets fixed by 6 to 8 hours, so it is not fixed yet. So this is seen by this test. You can see here in the picture, you can like recognize reddish purple discoloration is on the hands and face and on the inner part of the thighs. However, there is contact flattening on lateral side. So this indicates that the body was moved from the position where it was lying initially, and the contact flattening area is seen on this side, and the redness and patchy areas seen on the other side. So how do you differentiate between hypostasis and congestion? As you all know, hypostasis is because of the accumulation, because of the stagnation, and congestion is because of the mechanism which has occurred in shock or asphyxia or such conditions where the blood supply is stopped. So in that area congestion develops. So we need to differentiate between these two. So hypostasis will have reddish purple discoloration, congestion is redness, will show redness, and if you remove the accumulation of blood, the surface area below it will be pale in case of hypostasis. However, in case of congestion it will not be removed, and exudate will start coming out when we try to press the organ, and blanching effect is not seen in the congestion. Another entity is there which is called as bruise. As you know, bruise is accumulation of blood under the skin because of the capillary rupture, because of hard and blunt trauma. So we need to differentiate between the hypostasis and bruise. So hypostasis occur in dependent area as we have seen, and bruise is the where impact of force is there. So it has well defined edges in hypostasis. However, bruise will have the pattern of the weapon used, or it will have ill defined edges. And blood is retained in the intact capillaries. However, in bruises blood escapes, so we will not see that sort of thing which is there in hypostasis. It is superficial, and in bruise it is deep into the skin depending on the trauma. And when you remove the blood, the hypostasis area will show paleness underneath, and bruise will have redness. And when you give the incision, blood flows from the cut vessel, which is washable, and it is coagulated in case of bruise, which is not which is adhered. And there can be swelling because it is an antemortem phenomena in case of bruise. What is the medico-legal importance of postmortem staining? As you know that it is it depends on the position of the body. The dependent part will have stagnation and discoloration. So if the change in position occurs, then we know that the death has occurred at different place and it is shifted from another place. And we can also know time since death, whether the postmortem lividity is in mottled patches, or is developed fully, or it is fixed or not. So depending on that you can determine time since death. And also its distribution shows manner of death. Like if it is hanged, then you will see the stagnation in the feet area, earlobes area, nose, tip of the nose. And if it is drowning, the postmortem lividity will be as the body is floating, it will vary from place to place. So manner of death also can be seen in case of postmortem lividity. You can also know the cause of death by looking at the color which is there in the postmortem staining. So in case of carbon, these are some of the examples. There are other examples too, but just to enumerate, carbon monoxide poisoning will show cherry red postmortem staining, and cyanide will show brick red discoloration. In case of exposure to cold, the body will show cherry red postmortem staining. In case of asphyxia, it will be deeply bluish, violet or purple in color. Now coming to the other change which is there called as algor mortis, which is also postmortem cooling. And this occurs when body loses heat until it reaches temperature of its surroundings. The temperature which is falling down is recorded by a chemical thermometer which is 25 centimeter long, usually called as rectal thermometer, because usually rectal temperature is taken, and if body is opened, then under the lever for 2 to 3 minutes it is kept and the temperature is taken. It is for estimation of time since death, the cooling of body plays great importance, because body temperature reaches atmospheric temperature in about 12 to 18 hours, and within that time you can determine the temperature cooling. The factors which modify temperature regulation in case of after death is difference in temperature between body and surrounding. If the body is in fever, then the body will take more time to adjust with the body will take less time with the as compared to surrounding. And if it is the person was suffering from hypothermia, then it will be faster to cool the body. If the person's physique or build is more than average, then again it will take more time to cool. And if outside the temperature is cold, then it will be faster, and if the temperature is hot, the cooling will be slower. And there is another terminology which is postmortem caloricity. Postmortem caloricity is temperature rise observed for first 2 hours or so in bodies after death from excessive bacterial activity, regulation of heat production disturbed before death, and there is great increase in heat production in muscles before death. So in next part we will be seeing muscular changes after death. So that will be covered, that will be covering rigor mortis and other changes too. So here we will stop with the changes we had discussed. See you in the next class. Bye.